In the spirit of reconciliation, Startup Bootcamp acknowledges the Bunurong, Bunurong, and Wurundjeri Woiwurrung peoples of the Kulin Nation, the traditional custodians of the land on which we meet. I acknowledge the traditional custodians of country throughout Australia and their connections to land, sea, and community. I pay my respects to their elders, past, present, and emerging, and I extend that respects to Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples here today. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the EnergyInc Showcase. I'm Alice Coates, and I will be your host. I'm from Startup Bootcamp, and I'm the Program Manager for EnergyInc. We're here in Melbourne, joined virtually by a global audience to celebrate early-stage entrepreneurs and their innovative solutions to accelerating Australia's clean energy transition. I'm extremely proud of what our first ever EnergyInc cohort has achieved during our 3 months together, and I'm so glad to be sharing their accomplishments with you today. Tonight, you'll be hearing pitches from our EnergyInc startups. These entrepreneurs have been developing their early-stage business ideas in our pre-accelerator and come tonight prepared to launch into their next phase of business development. But tonight is also about you. There are various ways that you can get involved. Firstly, we invite you to join the conversation. During the startup presentations, please leave questions and comments in the chat box next to this video player. The startups will respond to these post-event. Secondly, for our online audience, you can also invest. You've all been given $50,000 worth of virtual currency to invest in your favorite startups. Check out the investment game below this video player. And finally, if you're an interested mentor, business partner, or investor, and you want to follow up about commercial opportunities, click the Connect with Startups button on the Startups profile page. Okay, let's get started. I'd like to welcome Energy Partner for Startup Bootcamp, Stuart Allenson, to deliver the welcome address.
Welcome to the EnergyInc Showcase. This is the Clean Tech flagship pre-accelerator program. It's the first time we've run this, and shortly I will introduce you to some amazing startups that have been through this first run of the program. I'd like to share 2 points of context with you before we get into it. First of all, Startup Bootcamp delivers themed programs. They're all aligned to the Sustainable Development Goals. We work with corporate partners, sponsors. We bring mentors together, investors into that ecosystem, and we put structured programs together to help startups, the entrepreneurs, think through, test, validate, and move towards commercialization. The second point I wanted to make is this is the climate decade. We have to make a massive transition. The globe understands that. It's probably going to be one of the most pivotal decades in human history. Now, for entrepreneurs who come from a diverse range of backgrounds, of ages, of educational backgrounds, career backgrounds, they have one thing in common. They are passionate, they're determined, and where others see problem, risk, challenge, they see opportunity. And for the climate decade, they see incredible opportunity. Now, being an entrepreneur is rewarding, but it is a tough and often lonely road. That's why we're here to give support. And as a broader comment, we need to get to the US level of the entrepreneurial ecosystem where it's just part of what you do. We've made great strides in the last few years in Australia. Very happy with the way that the ecosystem is building, but we've got further to do and we can all play a role in that. So it's a pretty Darwinian situation. The tough survive, the good ideas survive, but a little bit of luck and a lot of support as well. There's no guarantee of success. And what we do is we specialize between zero and venture capital. When the Series A investment rounds start to come in, our mission is simple, is to help entrepreneurs validate, de-risk, and grow. And overall, we're being successful at moving the dial in their favor in those Darwinian odds. So there's no guarantee. And it's also fair to say that not all ideas are viable. Now, when we envisaged this program and planned for it, we thought, we'd have maybe 1 or 2 entrepreneurs that came through this short program and were ready to launch their businesses. Fantastic. We thought there'd be others who would use the process to actually really test their thinking and then work out what are the critical next steps that they need to make in the next 3 to 6 months to advance their commercial ideas. And then the final group, we thought maybe there'd be people who would go through the process and then conclude that the idea wasn't ready for the market yet, or there was too high an opportunity cost in pursuing it, that its time wasn't right. Critically, we see all of those outcomes as success. Learning and moving forward is success in this environment. And just to say as an aside, it's one of the critical things that we work with our corporate partners on, to change that mindset from almost steady as she goes to thinking much more in terms of experimentation, validation, pivoting, and then adapting quickly to changing circumstances. So if that's what we planned for, what we got was more than we could possibly have hoped for. Please listen to their pitches. I hope you'll recognize some of what I've described in their journeys. I'll ask you this also though, when you get to the end of it, think what can you do as an individual to help that startup? And indeed, what can your organization can do to help? Because together, that's how we're going to build this successful transition. Now, I'm delighted to introduce three groups to you. They're under the broad categories of empowering the grid, smart future, and new markets. And the first of those, it's my great pleasure to introduce Kai, founder of Opengrid.
Welcome everyone, my name is Kai and I'm an engineering student at the University of Melbourne and the founder of Opengrid, where our mission is to accelerate the renewable energy transition and empower sustainable homes. $200 million. This is how much power retailers made last year by underpaying Australian solar homeowners for their excess solar energy. Currently, as it stands, these homes do not control where their energy goes or how much they get for it. But what does this $200 million actually look like for your average consumer? Well, let's take Craig, who's a solar homeowner, and was told upon installing a system that it would only cover his bill, but actually pay itself off in 5 years. And this sounds like a great deal. However, unfortunately for Craig, like many Australians, his reality was starkly different. After months of productions, Craig's energy provider was now giving him less than a quarter of what he was originally promised for his excess solar energy. Getting so little, his bill is actually costing him $640 a year. And as it stands, exporting clean energy to the grid, Craig is actually offsetting other homes' emissions without getting any compensation for it. And this is where Opengrid comes in. Opengrid is a next-generation energy retailer that empowers households to act as individual buyers and sellers in the grid. This creates a free market environment where homes can now buy and sell energy at a fair price. On top of this, Opengrid also acts as a carbon credit aggregator for clean energy producing homes. So by tracking the net carbon offset as a result of any clean energy a home feeds into the grid, Opengrid is actually able to issue carbon credits for the emissions that this home is offsetting. And what would it look like if Craig had Opengrid? Well, he's signed up and now sells directly to other homes, receiving over 3 times as much of his extra solar electricity. His $640 bill has turned into $500 of profit placed straight into his pocket. And on top of that, Craig now earns carbon credits for the emissions he offsets by exporting clean energy to the grid. Domestically last year, there was $400 million worth of excess solar energy produced in Australia. Our revenue model is to charge a market-based fee of 10% on all transactions and carbon credits issued. Across Australia, there are millions of other cases like Craig, leaving a real need for a system like Opengrid. Opengrid will help everyday Australians get ahead financially by greatly reducing their power bills and delivering clean energy at the same time. Opengrid was actually the national winner for Red Bull Basement's Global Innovation Competition, and I'll be pitching it to a panel of global judges in Turkey in March of this year. We're also currently in the application process stage with the Clean Energy Regulator for a carbon credit aggregator project, and we're looking for Homes with Solar to become a part of it. If any of this sounded interesting to you, we're looking for potential advisors, mentors, and employees to come on our journey with us. So please speak to me afterwards or contact us at opengrid.energy.
Thank you, Kai. A really interesting take on the clean energy transition. Let's jump straight into some Q&A. So, Kai, you're approaching energy in a brand new way. Can you tell us a bit about your key differentiator?
Yeah, so I would say Opengrid has two. And the first would be the direct energy transaction model. So instead of solar homeowners being forced to sell directly to their power retailer, they're actually selling directly to other homes, which allows them to receive 3 times as much for their electricity by creating this free market environment that currently doesn't exist in the electricity sector. And the second that Opengrid is delivering is the carbon credit compensation. So as it stands, any home exporting renewable energy to the grid is actually offsetting other homes' carbon footprints without getting any compensation for it. And Opengrid is the first leader in this space to take that step and restore compensation and justice to these homes that are offsetting carbon footprints and actually delivering them carbon credits.
Thanks, Kai. Can you tell us a little bit about your vision for Opengrid?
Yes, so my vision for Opengrid is the leader of the decentralized world. So as we transition to a renewable future, electricity will become highly decentralized. And this is going to require a large amount of intertransactions between households and producers. And Opengrid, with my vision, is to be the key enabler for those transitions. And as a result of that, accelerating the transition to a renewable energy from a financial standpoint by creating that the incentive there for these people to produce.
Great. And one from the Startup Bootcamp team, what are your crucial next steps post EnergyInc?
Yes, so we are currently in the application process stage with the Clean Energy Regulator for a carbon credit aggregator project, and that's a huge first step. And it will be the first time that solar homeowners will be able to actually earn carbon credits for exporting clean energy to the grid. So that's a huge next step for Opengrid and our mission. On top of that, obviously, I'm going to Turkey and pitching it to a panel of global judges in March. So that's going to be another big step as well, and certainly get a few eyes on it, which will be great.
We are so excited for you, and you've got so many exciting things in your horizon. So we're wishing you all the best, and thanks for joining us, Kai.
Thank you, Ali.
Let's now please welcome Bob Weihai from Veritas.
Veritas is a Latin for truth. Truth is mighty and will prevail. That is exactly what we are doing at Veritas, providing an accountable, traceable, and transparent mechanism for Australians to earn and trade carbon credit. Hi, I'm Bob, a software and system engineer with more than 15 years professional experience in energy and automation. I'm here to tell you more about the future of energy trading in Australia. You don't know what you don't know. Consumers have an immense amount of power in leading green energy transition, but their importance has not been captured or rewarded. Things like swapping to green energy providers, installing solar, deserve to be rewarded, but we simply do not have a system of automating data tracking, reward distribution in place for carbon decisions consumers are making. With no integrated systems and no data transparency, valuable consumer data is being left untapped. Veritas future-readies consumers to benefit from their decision-making. Veritas is a single source of truth data repository, preparing for a future of decentralized carbon credit trading for consumers. Veritas works by integrating all consumer data. For example, when you buy clean power, buy EV, choose carbon offset flight options, Veritas takes note, aggregating all your carbon impacts into personalized carbon credit. These are tracked and traded through blockchain, providing a transparent and traceable system of accountability. Veritas is an app which integrates all your consumer data. Alice, for example, downloads Veritas, linking certain consumer data, for example, her power supplies to Veritas. The system uses integration and automation to provide benefit to her. With every decision she makes to reduce her carbon emission, she's rewarded a carbon credit, which when she can trade with a global network. If Alice buys a property using green mortgage loaner, she's rewarded. If she installs solar on her property, she's rewarded. Veritas provides a cost-effective solutions with a subscription-based cloud services without upfront investment. It is not just single customers like Alice that will benefit from Veritas. Small and medium enterprise can also benefit. I've been developing this business idea for more than 6 months. I'm now the sole founder working on Veritas full-time, seeking to build my team and to launch in late 2022. Technology is moving quick, so am I. Join me on my journey because the future is here. I'm here tonight, looking for collaboration with the potential co-founders and to build a network of mentors and advisors, as well as to chat with anyone who would like to be commercially involved. Thank you. Please contact me via EnergyInc Showcase website or my email. Look forward to hearing from you.
Thank you, Bob. Fantastic pitch. And thank you for using me as a trial customer. I would love to be rewarded for my green decision making. Let's jump into some Q&A. So first, Bob, what makes you so excited about blockchain and energy?
Good question. Blockchain is essentially the next generation of internet. It provides trust and transparency to enable a decentralized network. Energy systems are currently still highly decentralized, which is not efficient or reliable in the long term. So I believe the future of an energy system will be powered by decentralized networks like blockchain technologies.
Yeah, I think there's many people who agree with you on that. And Bob, what makes you uniquely qualified for this job?
I have more than 15 years of professional experience in software and system engineering, especially in energy and automation. So I really see the future of emerging technology like blockchain, AI, and IoT to disrupt this industry.
Great. Bob, what are your next steps with Veritas after tonight?
Of course, to look for co-founders, find mentors, advisors, and spend time to build this system.
Thank you so much for joining us tonight, Bob. We wish you all the best with Veritas.
Thanks, Alice.
Please now welcome John Knight, founder of SolarSync.
In addressing climate change, we're electrifying everything we can. This means we're going to more than double our electricity demand, ideally inside the next 8 years. This demand has to be satisfied from renewables, and that's going to take a heap of orchestration. Hi, I'm John, and I'd like to tell you about SolarSync. We're building critical technologies that pull down emissions and are primary controls of the energy grid of tomorrow. Solar systems across Australia and the world are being throttled as the energy grid cannot support their output. As you can see here, this system has had a pretty brutal haircut. There's an alternative to this micromanagement approach of curtailment. I felt this problem firsthand. I fitted this solar system to my home about 4 years ago, but found the output disappointing. My son and I dug into the reasons and built a low-cost system that increased our energy independence by over 25%. This reduced our bills a heap and left us thinking, why isn't this tech available to every home? If we empower every building to manage its own energy automatically, we can force a lot more utility out of the intermittent generators on homes and businesses. And we get to save a ton of cash on our energy bills too. The solution is to maximize your energy independence. Our controllers pump free, clean power into the energy stores you already own. Sensors, we measure all we can. More measurements allow tighter control. One app for your entire home. See everything, control everything. And split-second automated control. Your home reacts fast, much faster than with cloud solutions. SolarSync builds a unique power profile of the building and matches it to local solar production. In our home, our appliances appear to work just as they always did, but they're now aware of and focused on solar operation. Old appliances made cleaner. This is true carbon reduction, taking what would have been a coal-powered load and bringing it into the sun. Exactly the same utility, but much less pollution and cost. As we electrify more of our homes, businesses and cars, these savings multiply further. First, building optimization. Save customers money by giving them total control of their homes with a focus on engagement and gamifying their savings. In 2023, we will introduce set and forget energy trading. Cars sitting in workplace car parks all day can access super low cost charging by syncing with local solar, a mobile solar sponge. We're striving to roll out solar coupled EV charging by the end of 2023. To decarbonise, we need all solar systems to work as hard as they can, not be shut down or curtailed. I'm the founder of SolarSync. I'm an electronics engineer keen to do my part in helping the world decarbonise. We want to partner with professionals to optimise and turbocharge the rollout of this essential technology. Australia is leading the way in solar. Let's maintain our lead as we solve the next great challenge in decarbonisation: control. Thank you.
Fantastic pitch, John. Thank you. Let's chat a little bit more about SolarSync in the Q&A. So our first question tonight is, what does your path to market look like?
We would like to work with solar installers to give them the option to turbocharge their customers' installs, give them extra output from the same system, and also give their customers complete control of the site. So I feel it's a really good upsell. And we'd like to use a subscription model as well, where we have a strong partnership with the solar installers, and they also make a small income on a monthly basis from our systems as well.
Fantastic. Seems like a totally logical partnership. Our second question tonight is a little bit more about the customers. So what types of customers are you targeting first?
To start with, we're going to need to work with larger systems. So we're talking factories, large domestic installs, that kind of thing. They tend to be affected most from export limits, and therefore their savings would be higher. We're committed to customers making a saving on their bills, a significant saving, whilst still paying a subscription for our kit. So it should be free. So we need to make sure of that. We intend over time to drive down to mums and dads and smaller installs, but at the moment, the returns there wouldn't be right for the customers. So it's a work in progress.
Thanks, John. A final question tonight. You did touch on this in your pitch, but would you mind elaborating on what your 5-year plan looks like for SolarSync?
Okay, well, ultimately, we want to get to these car chargers because the very large systems around Australia don't have enough on-site load to be able to soak up all of that solar that's being wasted, that's being spilt. So having a mobile solar sponge in these cars is fantastic for the environment, and everybody can win from that situation. But it must start with the synchronization with the data, and then we can work on the networking. So our path is very set. We optimize homes, we connect those homes, and then we move on to the car chargers. But it's an exciting time. It's an exciting time for Australia. I'm looking forward to playing a part in this.
What a great note to end on. It is an exciting time. Thank you so much, John, for joining us tonight.
Thank you.
John, Bob and Kai, amazing pitches. You've all approached the energy transition through rethinking how everyday Australians interact with the energy grid, but your businesses tackle this theme from very different angles. Thank you for walking us through your business ideas, and I can't wait to see how they grow. Audience, remember, the Q&A box is where you get to talk directly to the founders. If you want more information on their pitch, here is the place to ask it, and if you want to know about their future plans, this is the platform to do it. I'd like to now introduce our second pitching group for the evening, the Smart Futures Group. These innovative entrepreneurs are rethinking how we manage household energy in Australia, from your everyday appliances to renters accessing rooftop solar. Pitching first is Amber Trong from Solar Muster. Amber, welcome to the stage.
Hello. I'm currently renting out this house with other 2 housemates in West Melbourne, and it pissed me off that installing solar panel is not an option for millions of renters like us. Hi, my name is Amber. I'm a sustainable energy engineer, and I'm here today to help solve a problem that many of you or your families and friends who are renters are also facing. As a tenant, we feel extremely hard to be environmentalists. We can't install solar panel to save an electricity bill or to save the planet simply because it is too expensive or our landlord ignores us when we ask for it. Come on, 26% of Australians rent out their home. It's time for them to have equal access to cheap solar too. At Solar Muster, we help renters to get access to cheaper, cleaner energy like solar. Our solution, we take care of the upfront cost and any barriers that stop the renter from accessing solar. We install, operate and maintain the solar power system which the renters pay a monthly subscription to benefit from. Why does this work? We install solar for free, so everyone wins. Landlords get upgraded properties. Renters get cheaper, cleaner energy without having to deal with the landlord, and we achieve our mission. a vision for our service. If savings are not achieved overall, we guarantee money back. We will build a community of solar master renters and landlords who work towards a sustainable future. And lastly, we promise to do the hard stuff so everyone's life gets easier. Our target customer segment is home renters, especially those who are renting out with their mates or families. And there's around 2.4 freestanding rental property with our solar remaining. This equates to around $8 billion market for Solar Master. As an energy provider, our competitors are other energy retailers to Solar Garden Initiative or energy trading platforms. However, what do we have that our competitors don't? We install a solar panel directly above the rental roof that can see where the energy comes from. Plus, our customers do not have to bear the high network charge. We make up a large proportion of a standard electricity bill. What's more, our Solar Master team, Chris and I are problem solvers. In 2020, with our WaterWise application, we won the Global Innovation Challenge called Gravity Challenge organized by Deloitte. And last year, we successfully co-founded the Swinburne Leadership Hub to create a place for leaders to experiment, learn, and grow. This year, we worked together on Solar Master to provide solar energy to all. In this journey, we have successfully done numerous customer interviews and around A/B testing on our landing page, collecting valuable feedback from our customers. And you know what? People said they want it. Our next step is to further build the team and the partnership to eventually try the first system in the rental property. This could be yours. If renewables and sustainable future is something you're passionate about, we would love you to join our team or become our mentor. Or if you know someone in your network who can help us to implement our first trial, come talk to us. Now, when we see solar panels, we see a signal for a better world and we want to master it. Many years from now, we dream of transitioning all rental properties to solar and everyone have equal access to cheap, clean energy. If that's something you'd like to see, join our waitlist at solarmaster.com.au today. Thank you.
Thank you, Amber. Fantastic pitch. Now let's dive a little bit deeper into your business idea in the Q&A. The first question is, what makes you confident that you can offer savings to your customers with Solar Master's business model?
Thanks, Alice. That's good questions. So most of our competitors have their generators further away from the residential areas and have to pay an expensive transmission and distribution cost to run their business. At Solar Master, we believe by cutting that cost down by implementing solar panel directly above the freely available space on rental roof, we can offer a cheaper energy bill to our customers.
Thanks, Amber. This is such an innovative solution. How did you arrive at this business idea?
Right. So many of you may not know, but Solar Master, we used to be a startup that worked to address the adverse environmental impact of solar panel waste. However, through the Startupbootcamp program and through the customer interview process, I found out that it was very hard for me to reach to the stakeholder in this space, and the people we talked to didn't think it's a problem that we're solving yet. So one of the afternoon when we do our market research, I come across some stats around how many people are renting out and currently have no equal access to cheap, clean energy. And it made me wonder, home ownership is a huge challenge for a lot of Australians. In the future, there continue to be more people renting out, not less. How might we transition to a 100% renewable future or achieve net zero or carbon neutral target if we left the renter behind? So this is where I pivoted and directed my energy to solve this problem.
Great pivot. I think all the renters in Australia are very lucky that you've made that decision. What are your next steps for Solar Master, and is there anything that the audience watching tonight can help you with?
I think the next step is definitely to keep the ball rolling by continue, build, learn, measure, working out an effective and viable business model that is attractive to everybody in this system, the landlords, the renters, and obviously the Solar Master team and partners. And for this to happen, we definitely need a team and the partner in place to help us to make it happen. So if any of you out there know anyone can help us to implement our first trial, or if you are renters or landlords, please contact me. I'd love to have a talk. We can definitely build this thing together.
Thank you, Amber. You bring so much passion to your business and it really shines through.
Thanks, Alice. Thanks for having me.
Next up, we have Ruchika Diora with Tbdink.
Imagine a world where every appliance in your home is completely customized to your personality. It knows how warm you like it in the winter and how cool you need to keep it in the summer. It can ensure that during a storm or power outage, your computer and critical appliances are kept on, while discretionary items like your kid's Nintendo aren't. Or maybe that Nintendo is critical. You can have control over all of these devices and appliances, not only in how and when they operate, but on the impact that they have on the environment. Now imagine the time it will take to program, integrate, and manage each individual appliance so that it knows how you and your family operate. With our busy lives, we have other priorities than programming our appliances. We need help to make accomplishing our needs and goals easier, not more complex. Currently, homeowners don't have an easy way to control all of their appliances to meet their lifestyle needs. And simultaneously, networks don't have visibility or control into these aggregated electricity loads behind the meter. Tbdink is designing a platform that allows homeowners to answer a few simple questions and optimize their appliances based on cost, comfort, community, and climate. Simultaneously, we'll provide an aggregated residential load back to networks to help they improve their operational management and integrate more renewable energy into the network. Right now, there's a $20 billion market globally for home energy management systems. And in Australia, that market is going to grow to be $300 million in the next 3 years. 3.8 million people will have a controllable device within their homes. There are other people right now working on this problem, but their interfaces are complex and they're overly focused on kilowatts, kilowatt hours, or focus exclusively on cost, and they don't connect with the emotional needs of consumers. So what makes us unique? We're designing a platform that's customer-focused by customer-focused professionals. We use human-centered design and a subject matter expertise to make energy management quick and easy and create a truly energy-efficient home based on how you want it to work. Currently, we're talking to councils, state governments, and utilities, as well as aggregators. And we're also in discussions with solar installers and EV retailers. We've got an NDA with a technology provider that's going to help us create an MVP by the end of the year. We're well on track to meet our roadmap goals and be in market testing our MVP in September of this year, looking to expand by Q1, Q2 of next year. My name's Chika, and I've been in the electricity sector for over 10 years, working in the broader energy and gas space for almost 20 years. I'm passionate about electricity and about human-centered design. So if this idea sounds interesting to you, we're looking for early stage funding and trial partnerships. Get in touch at the contact information below. Thanks.
Thank you, Chika. Fantastic pitch tonight. We're going to jump straight into some Q&A. So first off, I love Tbdink. You're someone that is so close to being launch ready. What was your thinking on holding before naming your business?
Yeah, thanks, Alice. Great question. I think originally I was, let's put something in for holding. To be honest with you, in consistency with how our entire mantra is around the product, I don't just want to name the product something or name the company something that's based on something that I come up with. I want to test in market and understand what's going to resonate with consumers so that we have the best product available to those consumers. Additionally, as we've kept the name Tbdink more and more, it really resonates with me because, that's the electricity space right now. It's to be determined. There's so much change going on constantly and we're evolving. And so it just really started to resonate with me more and more.
I think it's incredibly clever and original. I personally love it. So apart from this business name, what do you need to get to that next phase?
Well, as I mentioned, we're well on way to developing an MVP. So we want to get that in market to test as soon as. So if there's anybody out there that has connections with local community groups or local councils so that we can get in market to trial, that would be really helpful. Also, we're looking for early stage funding so that we can just make this our full-time gig.
Amazing. Tell us a little bit more about the technology. So what is your technology's unique selling point?
Yeah, it's a really important question, and it's really important we get on the front foot about distinguishing ourselves, because there are other players in the market here. But as I mentioned, we really need to connect with the emotional state of the consumer, particularly residential consumers, and that's going to vary based on any one of those four items that I mentioned earlier: cost, climate, community, or comfort. Those are the areas that consumers are trying to balance whenever they think about their home energy needs. They don't think about the kilowatt hours. They don't think about the network. So by reaching out and finding out how we can connect directly with them on this emotional level, I think that's really going to put us ahead of the curve.
Thank you so much for joining us tonight, Chica. Fantastic pitch, and I wish you all the best with Tbdink.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Chica and Amber, for your insights and contributions to EnergyInc. I can't wait to see how your businesses help shape the future of household energy in Australia. Next, I'd like to welcome two entrepreneurs looking at new markets. These founders have developed business ideas focusing on untapped markets, from small and medium-sized enterprises to large rural farms. They are challenging business as usual. First up, please welcome Sarah Redmond-Neal from Small Mighty CSR.
Hi. SME Sustainability Hub, making sustainability simple for small businesses. SMEs make up 40% of Australia's carbon footprint, but they're not taking action because they don't know how, they don't have time to figure it out, and they can't afford a consultant. And they're not only missing out on huge business benefits, like attracting customers, engaging staff, and reducing costs, they're also facing increasing burden from their corporate and government buyers and banks, especially all of those that have committed to net zero in the last year, who are now going to have to figure out the footprint of their supply chain and loans. I know, because I used to write these supplier ESG policies and assessments. Not this one. I worked in corporate social responsibility for 15 years for big business and governments, training them, writing their sustainability strategies and reports, with particular focus on sustainability in procurement and supply chains. And too often, I would have small suppliers facing questionnaires like this, saying to me, I understand the importance of doing this for my business, and I want to do the right thing, but are there any resources you can point me to help? And unfortunately, I would have to say no. There's some dense UN PDF documents I can send you and some academic courses I can recommend, but neither of those are the simple, practical resources a small business needs for their situation. And they definitely couldn't afford me at the time. So I was inspired to fill that gap and provide online resources, courses, tools, and templates designed specifically for small businesses. But having done a lot of online courses myself over the last 2 years, I've learned a lot about what makes a good one. And a guided program, similar to Startup Bootcamp, is ideal to take a cohort of businesses through a process toward an outcome, like measuring, reducing, and offsetting their carbon footprint, not just learning about it. It creates accountability to do your homework each week and get feedback and support on those weekly calls, as well as a peer network to learn from each other. It's a perfect hybrid, allowing light touch support for low cost. So how do we make this a reality? Until now, I've been building a track record working directly with small businesses and mastering the content through creating resources for clients like Chartered Professional Accountants Australia and running online workshops like my MVP on cutting carbon through the National Sustainable Living Festival this month. Next, I'm looking to partner with an organization that wants to support their small business network with this issue, like their suppliers, their members, customers, or maybe local council businesses. So please get in touch if you're interested or know a network that might be. After piloting this program, we'll tweak it, automate it, and scale it up to more businesses. Then rinse and repeat with other sustainability topics like circular economy, social impact, and sustainability strategy. Then we'll bring it all together in a platform that provides a diagnostic and tracking of progress and a recognition badge that can be communicated to stakeholders. If you're passionate about supporting small businesses to be more sustainable, please get in touch about partnering or possibly joining the team. SMEs want to do the right thing, but they don't have time to waste. With the right support, they're an untapped market of innovation and solutions to our biggest sustainability challenges. Thanks.
Thank you, Sarah. And a quick note to the audience, you can submit your questions at any point during the pitch. Sarah, let's talk a bit more about Small Mighty CSR in the Q&A. First off, why did you specifically want to tackle this problem?
Well, I guess it started with feeling that it was just unfair to these small businesses, to these small suppliers that I was talking to. I didn't go into sustainability to keep it to myself. I want everyone to change their business models to tackle the problems that we're facing. So I wanted to make that more accessible, and I didn't want small businesses to be limited by not being able to afford me. But in the process, I also became super passionate about small businesses and their potential to actually have mighty impact. Not only are they agile, much more agile than speaking to the large corporates that I was dealing with. If I'm speaking with the owner and decision maker, they can change the focus of the business. They also are entrepreneurs. They're solving problems every day in their business, and they tend to be very values driven. So they want to do the right thing, and they have the innovation, problem solving, and connection with their customers to be able to identify those solutions.
Thanks, Sarah. So having worked with these small businesses now, what have you learned about how to design a solution to meet their needs?
Yeah, I've really learned from small businesses that they want to do the right thing. They just need to be given the right tools. They're very action-oriented. They don't have time to learn all about it and the history and all of the theory. They just need an action plan. Give them one thing to do and they'll go ahead and do it. So the more bite-sized and action-focused the content is, also videos that they can watch on the go, because we know that they might have 15 minutes here and there during their day while they're doing lots of other things. So making it super bite-sized and really clear. Your first step is measure your footprint. Your next step is go green power. Next step, change the lighting, etc.
On that topic of sort of measuring the footprint, does your solution propose to solely focus on carbon, or are you looking at kind of broader sustainability?
Yeah. Carbon is obviously on everyone's minds right now with COP26 and the big focus on everyone wanting to go net zero right now. That is a priority. I think that's kind of the first focus for this business, especially because, as I said, with all of these large corporate buyers and banks committing to net zero, they're going to be asking all of their suppliers and people that they're lending to, businesses they're lending to report their carbon footprint. So that is an immediate need that I want to tackle and is easily tackled through a simple program like this. And then I want to expand to other sustainability topics, because for some small professional services firms, going carbon neutral is a pretty quick exercise, and perhaps they could have potential for more impact on other sustainable development goals, like having a social impact, like providing their pro bono services to a local environmental or social charity or things like that. So yes, wanting to tackle the full range of sustainable development.
There is so much application potential and potential for growth with Small Mighty CSR. We're right behind you. We can't wait to see where you go. And we thank you so much for joining us tonight. Next up, we have Monique Saint-Tropez from Honest Feeds.
Hi everyone, my name is Monique and I'm very excited to let you know about Honest Feeds today. My story started with a series of questions. One day I found myself sitting in my kitchen, peeling off an orange. I didn't want to take it to my worm farm because I knew that my worms would not eat it. And I was also aware that if I took it to the compost bin in my backyard, it would take about 180 days to decompose. So I was left with a dilemma. I said I didn't want to keep throwing this orange peels to landfill, especially as I loved eating oranges. And I wanted to do something about it. As an expert in the circular economy, I am very much aware that if food waste and loss were to be a country, it would be the third greatest emitter of greenhouse gases, after China and the United States. Globally, we throw away 1.3 billion tons of food waste to landfill. And closer to home, here in Victoria, in 2020 alone, we threw away 2.4 million tons of food waste. That statistic in itself is very staggering, and I really wanted to do something about it. So I put together Honest Feeds. What is Honest Feeds, you may ask? In a nutshell, Honest Feeds is a social enterprise that collects food waste from food manufacturing businesses that are difficult to compost or to be taken to worm farms, and then takes them to a warehouse and transforms them into agricultural feed supplements using renewable energy, and then packages them and sells them to our farmers at very affordable prices. There's a plethora of benefits that Honest Feeds can bring to both food waste producers and to farmers. Namely, they are environmental, such as reducing the methane emissions in cattle, and this is currently being tested. The financial benefits to farmers would be, it would be sold to them at a very, very affordable price. And lastly, functional, which includes providing high levels of nutrients to cattle and sheep despite droughts and other extreme weather events. For the food waste producers, the benefits include helping them reduce their carbon emissions, reducing their waste to landfill, and helping them recover the cost of food waste and loss. So far, this is the roadmap of the Honest Feeds journey. In June 2021, I received a grant from the Wattle Fellowship at the University of Melbourne. And in October 2021, I was very fortunate to have been included in the Startupbootcamp EnergyInc pre-accelerator program. Next month, I will be starting to test at the laboratories of the University of Melbourne whether the consumption of Honest Feeds by cattle and sheep could really help reduce methane emissions in livestock. And then from June 2022 all the way up until 2023, we're really hoping to run a series of tests with our partner farmers to test the viability of Honest Feeds as a product. And if all goes to plan, in 2024, we're really hoping to launch in the market. So once again, my name is Monique Saint-Tropez, and I am the founder of Honest Feeds. I have the full backing of the University of Melbourne and have put together a great team of amazing people. However, for those of you who are watching this pitch, I would really like to ask for your involvement. If you know anyone who is a livestock farmer, a food waste producer from food manufacturing businesses, or if you know somebody who is a specialist in the circular economy or in warehouse logistics and supply chains, please let me know. I would really love to have you on board. If you'd like to follow our journey, please contact me on honestfeeds@protonmail.com, because at Honest Feeds, we are very, very passionate about saving the planet and our Aussie farmers, one fruit at a time. Thank you.
Thank you, Monique. What an excellent pitch. And I'm such a fan of Honest Feeds. I'd like to discuss Honest Feeds in a bit more detail in the Q&A. So our first question tonight is, you reference testing of the product. Could you tell us a little bit about how you're testing, or how Honest Feeds has evolved since you first started testing?
Sure. Thank you, Alice. So Honest Feeds actually started as just trying to process citrus peels or citrus waste, as I have mentioned in my story. However, after testing with our partner farmers, we have realized that cows are very picky in what they would like to eat. So we have determined that they would better appreciate the product if we were to add other types of fruit waste that would make it more palatable and would really pass the taste test. So right now we are currently testing what types of fruit waste to add to the product. So it's not only citrus, but to make it really tasty and nutritious at the same time.
That's so incredible. So following on from that question, you mentioned the University of Melbourne and you're conducting tests through the Wattle Fellowship. Could you tell us a little bit more about that, please?
So the Wattle Fellowship, Alice, is a global sustainability leadership program that is run by the University of Melbourne and in sponsorship with the McCall McBain Foundation from Canada. And they are basically supporting Honest Feeds in putting together like a small MVP to test the viability of the product. And from that, the University of Melbourne has also been very generous in allowing me to use their laboratories to be able to test whether the consumption of Honest Feeds by cattle and sheep would really reduce the methane emissions in those livestock. And lastly, the university has been very, very helpful in helping me find amazing mentors who are professors at the university who have really been invaluable in this journey.
How incredible. One final question tonight, Monique. Could you tell us a bit more about your revenue model for Honest Feeds?
Sure, Alice. So Honest Feeds would have profits from the sale of the product to farmers at really affordable prices. However, we'd also like to make sure that our food waste producers are on board and happy with our partnership. So how do we do that? We can either connect with them in one of two ways. So the first way is to reduce the cost of collecting their waste in such a way that it's a lot more affordable than what they pay their current food waste collectors. Or on the other hand, we would like to determine whether they would be happy with us paying them for their waste, actually. So, it's a very revolutionary and very intrepid idea to be paid for their waste. And we're currently testing whether this would be in the form of a fixed price or a percentage of our profits, which would be in direct correlation with the amount of waste that they provide to us. Because without them, we wouldn't exist, Alice.
It sounds like that could be a good question for the audience to help answer then.
Definitely.
Monique, thank you so much for joining us today, and we can't wait to see where Honest Feeds goes.
Thank you so much, Alice. I really appreciate your help, your support, and that of the staff at SBC. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Sarah and Monique. Your businesses are refreshingly innovative and crucial for helping to bring everyone on board to achieve carbon neutrality. Today, we have heard from a group of highly capable and original business founders. They joined EnergyInc with a business idea, tested and validated their assumptions, interviewed dozens of customers, pivoted again, and today they pitched their progress. It has been a huge effort on their part, and I'm very happy to be up on stage celebrating their hard work with them. I'd like to take a moment to thank and acknowledge the contributions of our program partners, LaunchVic and NISA, who have supported EnergyInc and continue to support the growth of the entrepreneurial ecosystem in Australia, as well as the team at Startupbootcamp for helping to run the program and making tonight possible. As many of our speakers talked to you today, supporting the energy startup ecosystem is vital to creating the next groundbreaking solutions for a sustainable future. So, we invite you to connect and collaborate with the startups after this event. To follow up with any of them, you can connect through the event website. We thank you all for joining us and wish you a pleasant evening.